Hello, welcome to Global Business. I am Imewayo Hyomokai, girl of defections in Nigeria. Of course, while that is happening, a lot is happening in the business scene. But first, we must say congratulations to Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari as he became the ECOWAS chairman, new ECOWAS chairman. But while he was being elected ECOWAS chairman, Nigerian traders were suffering in Ghana. Well, some time ago, in 2009, on Global Business, we brought you the story of how the Ghanaian authorities came up with a law that foreign traders should pay $300,000 just to do business in Ghana. Well, we thought that law was repealed, but it is back, resurfaced in 2018. And guess what? The money is no longer $300,000. Now you have to pay $1 million to do business in Ghana, especially if you are a foreigner. But who is a foreigner? Well, we have the ECOWAS community of West African states, where there is free trade, free movement, right of protocol, the right of establishment. I mean, these are the issues we shall be looking at on Global Business today. So we shall be talking to most of the sides to the story. We try to reach all the sides and make sure that they tell their story. So you judge yourself. Who is right? Who is wrong? It's a packed program. Welcome.
About 500 Nigerian spare parts dealers at Swami Magazine have to run for protection at the Swami police station. They have closed their shops as a result of persistent death threats. Chief Kizito Ikechukwu Obiora is leader of the group.
You're supposed to feel threatened. This one is not easy. It's not a matter of feeling threatened. Let's go to magazine now. You will see them. Those boys are there moving around. If you doubt, let's just move now as a media. Let's go there. You will see them. They are there. So now that we are feeling threatened, now that they are threatening us, we want the security agencies to come in. Actually, we are pleading with the commander if he can mobilize his men to lead us in numbers to go back to our businesses so that we will feel protected. Because honestly, if we go there, those boys will come back again. That is what we are pleading for.
One of the Nigerians who was beaten at a shop recounts his ordeal.
I finished locking my shop. Let me spark my motorcycle and go. The guy refused, said that I will not take the motorcycle. He started hitting me. I was respecting him, because I'm not a Ghanaian. I don't have to retaliate. All of a sudden, he made a call about a group of boys. The other one was with a plank and the table leg, the leg of a table. They were hitting me here and there. From the back, they hit me to the point I fell on the floor before they started running away. They thought I'm dead.
Meanwhile, leadership of the Ghana National Association of Garages has registered their displeasure on how the local spare parts dealers are assaulting the Nigerian counterparts. Nana Osaibonsu is chairman of the Association of Garages.
Now, government has passed law that these Nigerians do not have the right to retail in Ghana here, or these foreigners. Yes, we support the decision of the government of the day, but our concern is that there are more Ghanaians too doing business in Nigeria, some of them retailing, some of them doing other works like fitting shops and so many works. So if we do that, we don't deal with these Nigerians with care, we are going to bring a serious problem to the people, to the Ghanaians in Nigeria.
Ken Okoha, tell us about the history of these whole friction between the Ghana Investment Promotion Council and foreign retailers in Ghana.
All right, thank you very much, Mark. Act 478 of 1984. And that law provides that any foreigner doing retail business in Ghana must have a share capital of investment of not less than 300,000 US dollars. Added to that is that such foreigners are not allowed to do business in the marketplaces designed for Ghanaians. 2007, the Ghanaian authorities picked on this law and started a kind of implementation. Around that time, about 5,000 shops belonging to Nigerians were locked up. Nigerians screamed, Nigerian traders shouted, and there was this intimidation and harassment. And so, as the mother organization, the Nigerian Union of Traders in Ghana wrote to their mother association, NANS, the National Association of Nigerian Traders, and we took it up. We went to the Ministry of Trade, then Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And the minister saw the intensity of that matter and then called stakeholders meeting. And the stakeholders, at the end of the day, decided that a memo should be sent to the president on the subject matter, because everybody saw that that was very serious. As soon as the memo got to Mr. President, he delegated the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Trade and Industry, the Nigerian High Commissioner to Ghana, my home self, and few other officials of government to Ghana. We met with Ghanaian officials and then had, a diplomatic settlement of this matter. And those shops were opened. And we thought that had died. By 2009, there was another cry that the law came out again, and then, a task force was set up at that point, and they started moving around. Again, we now wrote directly to the president. And not only that, we also wrote to the minister, to the ECOWAS Commission, and wrote to the ECOWAS Parliament. And these institutions called for meetings. We had meetings with them. They interacted with us. And then they sent delegations to Ghana again. At the end of the day, we thought nerves were coming. So I think that was at the point that the ECOWAS knew that they had to do something beyond that. And the ECOWAS Parliament, the Parliamentary Committee on Trade, visited, and I recall that they met with the Parliament, the Ghanaian Parliament, and talked to them and made them to understand that that law is not in coherence with the extant treaty of ECOWAS, and to that extent should be nullified, set aside, amended. Now, this is the background of the matter. Since that time, from time to time, the Ghanaian authorities would bring up this law again. The latest of it all is the recent, circular to all non-Ghanaians trading in Ghana. But something happened. By 2014, that the Ghanaian Parliament rather now reviewed that law, the GIPC Act. Surprisingly, shockingly too, instead of amending in line with the advice of the ECOWAS Parliament to them, they now increased this capital, investment capital, from $300 to $1 million. And we shouted, we screamed. So this recent, circular that was sent out was that the task force has made to implement the actions, to enforce it, and that it was like a quick notice. Every non-Ghanaian doing business in Ghana should leave the market. The ECOWAS Treaty calls every citizen of ECOWAS, irrespective of where you are coming from the 15 member states, it calls you community citizen. And that's why I have a passport here, an international passport. If you look at the international passport, the first thing you see is the ECOWAS emblem. Before you open it, the second page, you will now see the particular specific country. And I said, I am a citizen of ECOWAS before becoming a citizen of, before you talk about a citizen of, Nigeria.
Let's look at this law very well.
Yes.
I know that the law, which is the Ghana Investment Promotion Council Act,
Yes.
is not really targeted at Nigerians. It's actually a GIPC law for foreigners. We have a reoccurrence of this. So, how do you want a Ghana Investment Promotion Council, for instance, to segregate between ECOWAS citizens? Because it actually says foreigners, ECOWAS citizens, and non-ECOWAS citizens. And what does this say, considering the fact that there is a heated debate on the African Continental Free Trade Agreement?
Thank you very much. I think this is a very important question. In law, what we call ratio decidendi, the crux of the matter on this subject is the question as to, is a Nigerian a foreigner in Ghana? Put it the other way around. Is a Ghanaian a foreigner in Nigeria? These protocols became the first in the life of ECOWAS. In 1979, ECOWAS was set up in 1975. The very first framework that came up with this particular protocol on free movement. The founding fathers of ECOWAS envisaged that ECOWAS would be an organ for regional integration, integration of the people, integration that will do away with cultures, harmonize the cultures of the people, because they see themselves as a people, as one people. Go back a bit before I go to CFTA. The great Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana was the architect of the spirit of Pan-Africanism. He found the embers of brotherhood, the embers of unity. Brothers, let's come together, we are the same race. And that same spirit led to the Lagos Treaty, which resulted finally in the formation of ECOWAS in 1975, precisely on the 28th of May, 1975. Now, going to the Continental Free Trade Agreement, and of course you've sent in a very beautiful question. What is happening now is sending a very wrong signal. Ghana was one of the first countries that signed onto the framework of the AFCFTA that's being negotiated today. As we sit down here talking now, Ghana was one of the first four countries that have ratified the agreement and sent the instrument to the African Union. How do you now reconcile that the same Ghana that is signing a free trade agreement for an African integration towards trade will now be the same, using the other hand, sweeping Nigerians away with a broom?
Looking at all this, what do you say the solution should be? Because it's already a law in their country.
We have a president in Ghana who is a lawyer, a sound one for that matter, an international law expert, and a Pan-Africanist. That's why we are comforted. President Nana Akufo-Addo will definitely, and I'm very sure, look at this law and amend it.
Nigerians seem to be so affected. I don't know whether other countries who have their citizens in Ghana are playing this much active role in trying to suspend this law as Nigerians. But why do you think it is affecting a lot of Nigerians?
Now, if you go to Ghana, like in many other countries in Africa, Nigerians dominate the environment, be it business, as in trading, or the banking sector, financial sector, the housing sector, property, and many others. Nigerian banks control over 40% of the banking sector in Ghana. Turn to telecommunications. Private sector led telecom sector, telecom industry, a Nigerian industry, a Nigerian firm is controlling there. Look at the property sector. Over 40% of the property sector in Ghana owned by Nigerian investors. There is a discrimination that's against the law, the Equal Treaty itself, even in the education sector. Whereas Ghanaians are paying in cedi in the schools, Nigerians who are attending schools there are paying in dollars.
Thank you very much, Ken Okoha. Now, I'm sure Nigerians understand this whole situation and scenario very well, and we pray for a better and more equitable solution.
I believe so. Thank you very much.
On the 27th of July 2018 was the deadline given to foreign traders actually targeted for Nigerians in Ghana to evacuate from market in Ghana. And the argument is that we should go by the GIPC law at 865/27. That says that foreigners should not engage in petty trading. Then 28 says that any foreigner that will engage in trading must register with $1 million cash or equity. We are agitating because they are not treating us as a citizen of ECOWAS again. They are now comparing us with foreigners like Chinese, Indians, and Lebanese, which that shouldn't be so. Issue of taking their job, no, we are not. Because most of the businesses there were designed by Nigerians and start and build it up. If you go to any place, you know how Nigerians behave. They come up with their own idea and do their own business. Now, where we are now is that the Nigeria High Commissioner to Ghana, that is Ambassador Femi Michael Abikoye, granted an interview to one television station, asking them where do you want Nigeria traders to go, because he knows that actually the target is for Nigerians, not really other foreigners they are talking about. And the Minister of Trade, Deputy Minister of Trade, called on us and asked why should the High Commissioner make such a statement. I said that is the right thing to ask, because where should we go? When you say we have to register with $1 million, you say we have to move out of the marketplace, you say we have to employ a minimum of 20 skilled Ghanaians workforce. We cannot afford such things. Nigeria and Ghana, we have this economic style, because if it's easy for me to raise 1 million in Nigeria, I'm not sure I will have to take it to Ghana. We appeal to the government of Nigeria to push it through ECOWAS to interpret the protocol to us and also take a stand on the protocol, because we have complained to our mother union, National Association of Nigeria Traders, and they are also trying to do through the national president, Barrister Ken Okoha, who have been helping coordinating issues for us. So we're on the edge of asking Nigeria government to come into this issue and ratify it once and for all, because it keep on recurring. This started from 2007, that they start locking our shops, and they keep on locking these shops every other year. We pay our taxes. Most of us are importers. We import our goods, we pay duty, and those things go a long way to help the economy of Ghana. So every businessman is a contributor, and we are also paying our own quota.
You've listened to the presidents of NANS, NANS in Nigeria, NANS in Ghana. Now, let's take a listen to what ECOWAS has to say. We have the Director of Division for the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Tony Luka Elumelu. He speaks to us about ECOWAS' position on this issue.
I've always had issues when people refer to community citizens as foreigners. Like you know, the free movement itself is a protocol that was envisioned to foster integration in order to support the aims and objective of the Treaty of 1975. And in the revised treaty again of 1993, an article was dedicated to immigration, and that is Article 59. And that 59 states that the citizens of the community have the right to enter, reside, and establish businesses. And also it stated the obligation of member states to protect their rights relating to the rights of entry, residence, and establishment. And the guiding principle for the right of establishment is non-discrimination. So as we speak, the Commission, through by the directive of the President, His Excellency Jean-Claude Cassibro, has also mandated a 3-man delegation to go to Ghana and discuss with them. For me, it's for ECOWAS a win-win situation. It has happened before. It was suspended. It happened again. It was suspended, and this time it has been suspended before even the fact-finding mission. So I believe we'll come to a compromise.
But you and I know that many countries, even before this time, have violated the protocols and treaty. Let's take, for example, the Nigeria's Ghana must go. Now, how do you juxtapose that with the support by the Ghanaian government of its local traders? Because they say or claim that their local retail businesses are threatened.
And if you look at migration to third countries, we're here complaining about some countries not opening doors to Africans. Meanwhile here, we're shutting down. So I believe that my take is not that we'll, like you just mentioned before, Nigeria has its own problem too. There was a time they mentioned Ghana must go. Then in Ghana too, we need to, but we came to a compromise in Nigeria and also found out that there's no nation that is developed with its own people. You need to have cross-border fertilization. You need to have skills from what I acquire skill, culture fertilization, cross-fertilization of skills. You also ideas. What you intend to do is, what you should do is, member states should do is to leverage on the opportunities and privileges that are enshrined in relevant tests. I'll give you an example, the ETLS, ECOWAS Trade Liberation Scheme. What have member states done? All you need to do is, because goods that are manufactured here ought to pass through the borders, pro bono. So what do? You plan very well. Give your people relevant capacity, provide relevant competencies, take them across, give light, let go into manufacturing, you produce, they cross the border. The West, they're shutting their doors. So if we don't organize migration and make sure that there are exchanges, development, then we are planning for continental mobility arrangement. So how can now one cross to Ghana, from Ghana to Nigeria, from Nigeria to Senegal, then Cameroon? Because it's continental. We've gone beyond that one. So for the solution, I don't think that there should be fear in terms of dominance in terms of, because you look at ECOWAS is about over 300, slightly over 300 million. Nigeria is almost 200 million. So it is imperative to have that majority of community citizens that will be domiciled in other countries will be Nigerians because of its population. So the most important thing is to make sure that there's orderliness, law and order, compliance, but not to criminalize migration.
Okay, let's just make it clear that your intervention as ECOWAS is not specifically just for Nigeria, but for the whole of ECOWAS member states.
Definitely it's so, because it's a regional test. And when you address community citizens as foreigners, it's not in tandem with legal instruments that guide them free movement. So it's not for Nigeria, and it's for the whole, because we have to do the right thing. We need to make sure that we ask members to comply with whatever protocols they've signed, but not for Nigeria alone.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You're welcome, sir.
Well, we've heard all the sides to the story. What's your own comment? What's your own side? Send it to our social media platforms, or even send us a mail on our Gmail. You can see that on the screen. That's Global Business today. Join us again next week. We shall be looking at waste to wealth next week. You don't want to miss that edition. I'm Imewayo Hiamokai. Have a great day. And remember, it's always nice doing business